So I'm creating this video to demonstrate the effect of polymorphism in Java. So I have several classes here. First, I will introduce the classes. First one is animal class, which is a superclass, and it has several instance methods. And there is only one field, which is legs, and it has a value of 3. It doesn't make sense, I know, but that's what it is here anyway. And then I have several instance methods and one static method. I will talk about the static method later. And there is a toString method. It has two subclasses. There is duck subclass, which extends animal, of course, and all the methods are overridden in this class. Similarly, there is another subclass, which is goat class. That also extends animal, of course, because it's a subclass of animal, and it also overrides all the methods. And of course, the instance variable has different values in goat and in duck. So that's there. And there is this main class, which is called farm class, and it has the main method. So I will come to that later, but there is another class which is animal actions class. So this animal actions class just has two static methods which talks about tries to write about the animal behaviors. So animal food, what food animal takes, and then animal sound, what kind of sound animal makes. So these two static methods take an animal object where the reference is animal. In both of them, the parameter it takes is animal object, reference is animal. Similarly, in all the instance methods of animal class, and of course the overridden methods as well, take animal as animal object, an object of animal as a parameter. It can be an object of animal or it can be object of subclass, but the reference is animal, of course. And because of that, the polymorphism thing will play in, because reference of the reference is created at compile time, but objects is created at runtime. So it can be in all these methods, the A can be either an object of the animal class, which is the superclass, or it can be an object of any of the subclasses. And the instance method that will be called, whether the superclass method or any of the instance, any of the subclass method, which one will be called, the instance method, will depend on the object, basically the object, and that will be determined at runtime. Though reference is always the same of the superclass, but the object can be different, and that's what we will see here from in the main class. So first we will see that I have created several objects. The first one is called animal duck, which is a duck object, but the reference is animal. Similarly, there is an animal goat, which is a goat object, but the reference is animal. And then there is an animal object, and reference is also animal. And finally, there is a duck object, and reference is also duck. Now let's look at this method, which is animal actions. So animal actions, the methods of animal action, animal food and animal sound, these two methods are static methods, so they are called using just the class animal actions. An object is not, because those are static methods. So animal food or animal class, it is taking animal goat as a parameter. That means a goat object as the parameter, and that one is going here. And this is now a goat object, the value A here, and this goat object will call animal its, which is an instance method which is present both in the superclass, in all the subclasses. But since the object is of goat object, the animal its method of goat object will be called. And once we run this program, it has already been run once, but if we run it, we can see that the first statement is goat eats grass, which is, if we look at the goat instance method of goat instance method of animal eats, it says goat eats grass. That means this method is called. So, and that's what was expected, because the object is goat object. Similarly, for the second one, it's the animal sound. Again, the object is goat, and it should call the it's again this object is goat, so animal says of goat object should be called, and we can see the goat object animal says bear, and if we go here, it's already been run, so we can see the second output is bear, which means the goat instance method of goat class is called. So those are there. Then there is animal food with animal duck is called, and we can see that now since the object is animal duck, the object gets going as a parameter, so and it's going here, and this object will call the method, but since this is a duck object, it will call the method that is of the duck class. That's what will happen, and that's where the polymorphism comes in. So if the object is of superclass, then the instance method of the superclass would be called. But if it is of any of the subclasses, then instance method of that particular subclass will be called. So here we can see that it says duck eats wheat, which is the animal eats duck eats wheat. That means that is called. And then finally we can see here that's the animal is called, which is an animal object basically. Animal and animal actions, animal sound. So now animal sound, this one, instead of this is an animal object now because it's animal is coming, which is an animal object. So the animal says the animal says of animal class, which is the super class, will be called now, and we can see super class says animal says words, and that is being called here. So that's there. And then we can see here we have tried to do the same thing. Actually I have done it here. Then it is animal name. There is an instance method animal name. Now this one also I could make another class where it would be called probably animal characteristics, where there would be animal name as a static method or something like that. What is animal what is the animal called, something like that, a static method. And then I could have done exactly similarly. So there was a static method, and then the object would be passed here, and then I could have called the animal name here. But I didn't do that because that would be good if there was several of that kind of thing. So that making separate classes is good to have reusability and the possibility of expansion or possibility of scalability. But I'm not going there because that's another issue. So since there's just only one method, I have just called the method directly, and so that's called animal name, and it is called with an animal object, a duck object. So as a result, the duck animal of the duck class is called animal name here. So it will take the duck object here, and it will say the animal is duck object because there is this string method, there is a toString method that will say duck, so the animal is duck, and it has a getLegs. So it will call the instance variable here, but that is being called as with a getter method, which is getLegs. I needed to have this getLegs because I couldn't say the just a getLegs, because if I did that it wouldn't work, because instance variable would be called it would be called the superclass one. So for polymorphism to happen, only the instance method will be called according to the subclass, according to the class that is being called. So that's why I needed to have a getLeg method, so as a getter method basically. So that's why the getter method is getter method is needed. Similarly, when animal goat is called, it's called the animal is goat, and it has 4 legs because goat has 4 legs here, and duck had 2 legs, so it's 2 legs here. And finally, the same thing is called using an animal object. So when that one is called, it's called the animal, and this is from animal class. So that's the statement here. That's the system printout here. So basically, this is what is being printed out. So that's there. Finally, I will talk about the static methods. So the static methods, one thing is very important here. The static methods shouldn't be called this way because it is called by an object. As a result, there won't be any error though, but there will be a warning, and the warning will say that it has to be called in a static way, that means it should be called with the class. And if I call it, there won't be any error. So I will do that. So first it is called with an animal duck, but we have to remember the animal duck is it is a duck object, that's fine, but the reference is animal. So what we expect now, should the animal class method will be called, or should the duck class method will be called? Though the object is animal duck, if I run it now, I will say, see that in superclass, so it is being called in superclass. So the superclass method is called. That is because here it is a static method, so here it's not overridden. What happens? It's hidden. That means the object, the method, that is whatever the object is, the reference class will be called. So since this is, though this is a duck object, but the reference is animal, so animal classes static method will be called. Similarly, if I do these two, we will see in every case, since animal goat was also a goat object, that's fine, but the reference is animal, so animal static method will be called, so it will be in animal in superclass. Similarly, animal, it's an animal object, and also the reference is animal, it has to be, so that's also. So now if I run, in every case it will be superclass. That means it's always the superclass method is called because the reference is animal. Whatever the reference is, that one static method will be called. Finally, I have created an object. There is a duck object, which is a duck object, but the class is also duck. And now when that one is called, sorry, this is a, let's call it with duck. Let's see what happens. duck, and then if that is called, let's see what happens now. We can see the duck class method is called because this duck is a duck object, but also the reference class is duck. So now the duck class method is called. The static method of duck class is called. So it's very important to differentiate these two. The static methods are hidden while instance methods are overridden in Java inheritance. When in subclass it is overridden, but static methods are always hidden. So whatever the reference class is, that one will be called. But for instance method, the object, whatever the object is, that one's class is called. Whatever the reference, it doesn't matter. And that's why for instance method the polymorphism happens, because we are here having the parameter as it's just the reference is there, because that's what will be, and the object is the reference of the object is there. But what object will be called will depend on runtime, depending on what object is calling it. So depending on that, whether this method or that method will be called. But for static method, since the reference is already created during compile time, that's why it's already decided during compile. But for the object is created during runtime, JVM does it, so it happens. The polymorphism happens during runtime, because the object, whatever the object is, that will call the method of the corresponding class. So if the object is of a subclass duck, the duck class method will be called. If it is of a goat class method. If the object is of superclass, then the superclass method will be called. Yeah, so I don't want to talk any more about it, because I think I have made my point, whatever I wanted to say. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Thank you.